And welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mokonaman at YouTube with another video. We're going back to the 3D printing series. I am practically done, or as far as I can go, with the Up Mini without modifying it. What I do want to do is look at the sort of rapid prototyping where material is being removed, such as plotters, engravers and CNC machines. What we got here is a laser cutter from Best Gear. They decided to sponsor me and send one to trial out. This is the 1000 milliwatt model, metal box, this cardboard box, glasses, which would have been mentioned in the intro, all the cables and a marker for blacking things out, sample block of wood, software. It's very cool, wrapped in plastic. I do love out of the box printers and whatnot. There is some things you need to do. The packing, as well as the blue plastic strap, needs to be removed. And this as well. Being heat orientated, it's definitely for safety's sake. The two rubber bands stay there. The assembly, the wiring, everything is done in a very quality fashion. I love the fact that instead of using pulleys, it's all screw based, and it's a very solid build. Should last quite a while, and the frame's not very warping, or won't really warp. This is very heavy duty Perspex, quite an expensive material, lovely finish. Ideally, this is far more quality than I expected. No damage, scratching or anything. Machine test okay. These lines is far sharper, and the detail is a lot greater than I expect. If we're getting fine lines like this and we do multiple cuts, this will be very good. A QR code and a bit of a tutorial there. Inside the bag, we've got an Allen key, various test materials being balsa wood, bit of pine, non-slip base, and two cables, a data and a power to standard USB. Might not have mentioned that this is purely USB based, powered, so it's fairly portable, though I have my skeptic doubts of how deep can this exactly cut, and in what applications we can apply it to scale modelling as well as other hobbies. The bed is quite small, though at the price this is a great entry level to CNCing or any sort of engraving works. With any new device, don't just plug and play, especially something as dangerous as this. Had a bit of a read of the instructions. The model is a DK8KZ 1000 milliwatt laser, 5 volt 1 amp that goes into a USB 2 outlet. It advises not to operate for long periods of time in hot environment or weather. The laser is replaceable. I find that you can purchase it from Buy or other places for approximately $30 to $50 shipped. It is a diode laser. It burns at 25-45 degrees with a 100,000 hour lifespan, but due to how intermittent USB power is, generally you're looking at about a 1 year working time, they estimate. Could be longer, could be less. Maintenance is to keep it out of a dusty environment. When not in use, just wrap it up or put it in a box. And it does not burn or cut metal, clear plastic, white paper, white surfaces, anything that light is going to reflect off it, like a mirror or websites to find the drivers and the software online. At this stage I'm going to start wearing my glasses when directly looking at the bed to adjust. Installed the drivers as a 3-step process. I found the disc to be near impossible to use. The online drivers are alright, but we've got it on. We've got the test laser. By a adjust stipple underneath, we're going to get a finer focus to get thin line. We're just adjusting it. It's all the way open, and we shall close it so we get a tiny little spot. And there we go. The finer the point, the better job it's going to have at cutting. I've had a lot of issues utilizing it on a laptop. This will only work on a 64-bit machine as per notified here. And the easiest way is to transfer the files straight to the desktop, not on the CD. Install the driver, have the printer disconnected, open the program, and you're going to get this constant auto connecting screen. Plug it in and turn it on. Make sure it's not in cutting mode. Now the button up here, if it says connected and it tells you that it's searching and all that sort of thing, you are ready to go in just dropping in an image. You can press the reboot button. For reacts, you know it's good. You'll have a little sample laser, and when you push up or down, it's pretty much leveling where you want the object to be drawn. You can press center location, you can press any, click on the screen, and it's going to move around. Like so. This earlier test, we've got something that is fairly subtle here and very solid here. To load an image, if there's something here or not, all you have to do is bring up the appropriate sized image, such as this lovely saber that actually comes with the machine. Love the Weeb themes. And you get the choice of normally a shaded one and a solid one. These are very similar. Going to click with the solid one, and all you have to do is press send image to machine. This process should get you through the most issues of loading it into the firmware, into the computer, and the printer connected to the computer. This process will work every time. Utilizing Windows 10, multiple operating systems work, even though it says for 7 only. Updated version of this software can be found online. You are also able to add text, which brings up this window. Click on insert and place where you like. You're good, you press start. This will be burning in for a little while. It does not give you an indication how long. There's a scroller indicating burn time, and a nice amount of numbers indicating all the X and Y axis as it's burning. As your work progresses, what has already been burnt is highlighted in red. It only takes up about half the screen. It's very small. Potentially can be a much larger. The clarity and detail is excellent. Completely love it. Next experiment, we're going to put a colour picture of this bitmap of the Salt Mines logo. Drop, drag, and we're given a gradient option and an absolute option. If you're trying to centre it, click the rectangle locate, and it gives you an outline of the edges. So I just need to move it slightly to the left. Now this is where things can get really dangerous and care needs to be taken. Clicking the redo button will start the print from scratch, but it's also going to continually repeat doing the cut, which is good if you want to have a few cuts to cut through a material or a deep ingrain. This needs to be done under very strict supervision, as burning through the material or igniting could start fires or other issues. Reloading and doing another print will keep it in the redo settings of repeating until you press stop. If you want to cut and then it self stops, reboot all the settings, which is located here. Here is the intermediate verdict, or at least about 20 cuts over a period of a week. With the factory test, doing my own etching on paper and card, it comes out quite lovely. You get a lot of definition and gentle tones, heavy tones, super fine lines. Capturing art on paper and card, writing, all that stuff, easy, beautiful. Almost like it's designed for that. If you're making little trinkets, hobby, packaging, selling stuff at cons and whatnot, little personal things, this is really ideal. Heading into the hobby field, I started cutting multiple passes at 100%, and I got this really nice crisp marking of the Xeon symbol. Fortunately, the inners have fallen out, so I would have to draw a bridge to connect all that, and maybe an overlying stencil to do a second spray to have the complete image, or touch it up by hand. In a bit of masking tape, and I did distort it a bit by peeling it incorrectly, I've got this nice radioactive symbol. With a thicker, larger piece of tape would work out quite beautifully. This would be a single use where you'd get it cut, apply on the model, spray, remove, throw out, or you could do something that's a little more permanent and use it multiple times. Now, going into material, we've utilised this wooden block at 100%, 2 passes. It made an ever so faint shadow. So this 1000 milliwatt laser is just not appropriate for a hard solid wood. I put some paint over it to see if anything was even remotely visible. On soft balsa wood, you can also get some interesting cuts. I've done it on all percentages. Some were successful, some not so. This is most likely user error rather than the laser, but the successes outweigh the failures. Also experimenting with size and other elements. The 100% cut is so dark you can't see anything. If you have the intent to paint, it works out. Multiple tones, they're 50% and smaller, starts to look far more appealing. 25%, I don't know what went wrong. It looks good. It's probably needed to do a second cut. Moving on to spoons. The bottom spoon, it's bare plastic, failed over multiple cuts on the same spot. I buffed one side to break up the surface to make it less reflective and made an ever so gentle mark on it, but the colour of the material is a massive factor. It needs to be browns, blacks, all that sort of thing to work. Now, I don't know if it was moving around, being a spoon, they rock. I did not stable it down properly with blue tack or supports, just laid it straight on the bed. Sort of moved around and it made a sloppy image, but sheerly just painting the surface brown, I got quite a deep dent, and it looks good by itself, or with a little tickle of paint. Now, putting this down properly, I put this Xeon symbol in one cut. It was near impossible to see on the plastic. I airbrushed a bit of silver and it pops beautifully. So on a flat part, simple marking, works out quite well. This one is multiple passes. The bare plastic looks kind of distorted and burnt, but with a bit of paint, again, it's just a nice etching. This could work, it could not work. I suppose if you stuff it up, you can always put putty and sand it away. But it is an interesting experiment nonetheless, and should be repeated multiple times before utilised on a proper project. Better securing will be required, and a stronger laser would be much appreciated, though a painted surface would bear better results. This is the laser cutting test on styrene plastic. On this side in one direction, being white, it's and 10 cuts. Has done nothing. There is coursing, but it kind of sucks. I kind of made a bit of a mess on the other side in cutting in 2 directions, so I couldn't initially see it. This is a painted surface on black. It's coursed, and you can see it wishes to snap where it's been cut. It probably should be coursed a bit more. Try that now. Nah, it didn't quite break, but you can still put a knife through and snap it properly. I probably did a far too ambitious shape, but where it's good, you can see that it's a clean cut. Try again. This is a basic cut, and you can see it's popped out pretty perfect. So if you want something that's consistently shaped, just draw up a bunch of the shapes, laser it out in 2 to 3 passes on airbrushed black, and snap clean. Tried cutting into plastic. It has some form of results, though very time consuming on a weak laser. A few passes on black plastic works. Also done a thick panel cut in the middle of the circle, which looks quite good. I could do it a lot thinner, I could do it a lot deeper, but you could coarse the material enough to snap it, or just do a bit of detailing. Supplementary information: you can upgrade the laser to a higher wattage. It's just a simple pegboard connector, wire and cylinder with all the mechanisms required to continue tuning it. All you need to do is dismantle one side with the motherboard. That can also be replaced at a very small cost or upgraded to a new model that takes the newer firmware. All wires are crimped and just interconnect. The maintenance and pulling apart is very easy to do. In the mechanism that is on the above axis is the housing for the laser. It just pops in and out by disassembling and will require replacement at some point. The bottom assembly for the focus is also disassemblable with a spring to keep the focus. Once a certain amount of hours pass, your laser will eventually lose power and completely burn out. It's a small expense at about $50 for the mechanism itself, where double that is the whole retail value of the whole laser. Still fairly affordable. Going straight to the new products. Because this came out in 2017 when I reviewed it, modern day you have a very similar housing. It works exactly the same placements of all the parts, and a lovely screen to be less of a hazard to your eyes. The new model also has a much stronger laser, all the way up to outright 1 watt, 10 times more powerful than what I'm looking at here. It'll give you far better, superior control and punching power in engraving, deeper into material, harder materials, as well as just outright cutting. This will probably be far more appropriate to purchase than what I have. And then go to the Neji Master 2, which has a much larger space that sits on a bench. The actual part itself is not moving, and just the laser head over whatever you're lasering, and it can go up close and personal for a decent cut. This goes to 2 watts, 20 times stronger. This is a piece I'll be interested in purchasing in the future for larger stencils and just outright cutting, PDF board and plastic for scratch building and parts assembly, dioramas, all that sort of thing. This would be a very decent product. The assortment of laser parts by the 6000 milliwatts is only exclusive to the Master product. As the obsolete version is still available out in the market quite cheap, obviously these would be far more expensive. I found the laser to go for about $100 and the Master model around the $500 mark. A bit of a jump, but far more flexibility, and it can also work offline like most modern 3D printers. In conclusion, paper crafts, stencils, perfect. Fantastic tool, worth the $200. In the way of modelling, plastic and whatnot, I would invest in something stronger. You can get replacement laser or something that has 3 times the strength, 3000 milliwatts. Looking at the newer models where they could be 10 to 20 times that would be most ideal. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for GearBest for giving me this printer. I did nothing with it in the 3 years I've been sitting on it, so I hope it still attracts some attention your way. Thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. Check out all the links and description pieces down below. For the regular viewers, I've been doing more content on the second channel. PhD Manchild, and we'll catch you guys next time. Stay tuned.